I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about why your ex is not ready for the pain that they're going to feel.
Oh, this is the tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into it, I did want to say, as I always say, Craig and I are available for coaching sessions. So if you are interested, head to the website and book from there.
You know, when we're in a breakup, we really start to think that our ex doesn't care about us. And a lot of times we feel like they never cared about us because they can get really cold, really mean, and really hurtful, especially if you've been pushing them in any kind of way.
And it can be hard to believe that they're affected by the breakup too. We see that they're cold, we see that they're doing fine, and it makes us think, how can they not feel this? How can they not be hurt?
Yeah, it looks like they've just kind of moved on quickly and that they're happy and that life is good. But that's not usually the case. In fact, your ex is going through a lot more than you think they are, but they're not going to reveal that to you. They usually only reveal that to you when they start to reach out to you again and start to open up and vomit all those feelings out at you again. But you got to stay quiet when they're doing it. If you interrupt them, you're not going to get all that juicy info.
And I will say too, it's rarely at the time of the breakup.
Mm-hmm.
So typically at the time of the breakup, you are heartbroken. You are experiencing all this grief head on. You have to face it. You have no other option. You're just there dealing with it.
Yep.
But on their end, they're very cool, calm, and collected, maybe even cold. Sometimes they're tearful too. Sometimes we see this, but then it might be met with them going out or them being impulsive or them being super social or even dating someone new. So it can be such an interesting contrast at that time that there are a lot of songs written about.
Yeah, so true. But they really come across like they are certain about their decision. They're not going to change their mind. You trying to do anything to change their mind only makes them more adamant. So it doesn't look like they're going to be in any pain from the breakup, but they really don't realize what they're going to go through. It's an experience that they don't realize what is going to happen to them yet. They've been fantasizing about what they think is going to happen and how they think they're going to feel. And in the beginning, they might even feel some of that. But as time goes by, they're going to experience a lot of different feelings and emotions than they did at the time of the breakup and even pre-breakup when they were planning their escape.
Right. Planning their escape. Sounds like a jailbreak.
Sometimes it must feel like them, for one, right?
Yeah,
for
probably.
some of the,
So the first one we want to get into is grief. They don't realize that they too will experience grief at some point. Now, we often talk about this dynamic that happens where before the breakup, they might experience some of that grief beforehand. They might have already processed some of the breakup, have already thought about what it might be like when you're not around anymore. But experiencing it is very different than what it's imagined to be like.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is very important because we, from the outside, we don't see that grief, especially if we're in no contact. We have no idea what it's like for them. We have no idea what's running through their mind, their feelings of longing, their feelings of missing you, their feelings of loneliness. So all of those things do come up. So many times during the breakup, they don't understand that there still might be some residual grief to come.
Yeah, they think it's all just going to be puppies and rainbows and stuff like that.
Another one that I want to talk about too, as to why they're not prepared for the breakup that they are enacting, is a lot of times there are certain tasks that the two of you share that now they have to deal with all on their own.
Yes, this is big.
This is big. And the population that I see this most often is in men who have been married to women, and then a divorce happens, and now the man is left to do the role that has been typical in their household.
It's true.
That the wife would do.
Yeah.
So sometimes you will hear even kids of divorced parents, mom and dad's house look very different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mom's house might be tidy. That might have been her role in the family, is to take care of just the household duties, versus in the father's house, it might be a wreck. You know, he hasn't learned those skills. Maybe there's a bit of learned helplessness there of, oh my gosh, life is very different now that my partner is not here with me. The other population you see this is with widows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in situations where there were shared tasks and somebody dies. Yes, this is very different from a breakup.
Yeah.
But just to drive home the point of shared tasks then become one person's responsibility. And if we take this to the emotional level, you know, Margaret used to always say that relationships double the joy and divide the grief.
Mm-hmm.
So now, being a single person, you don't have that emotional support from your partner like you once did. Yes, you might have your community, but it will be different from having that romantic type of support.
Yeah, it's so true. And they don't think about those things ahead of time.
Yeah.
And if they do, they just put a little bit of thought into it. But going through it every single day is very different than the fantasy of, you know, I'm leaving this situation where I'm so unhappy. It gives a lot of perspective to go through it. In other words, like, if you decide you're going to go visit someplace on vacation, well, the idea you have of it is going to be very different than actually going there and seeing what it's like.
Right. This reminds me. One time I went on vacation and forgot to pack pants. Can you imagine? I forgot to pack pants. So this is how many of your exes are. You know, they go through with the breakup and they realize, wait a minute, there's some things
I ain't got no pants.
I don't have any pants. There's some things that they didn't think through.
It's true. But experience takes a process of going through it, is the point. And so you can think that this place that you're going to go to is the most amazing place in the world. Then you go there and you're like, wait, this is a lot different than what I expected. And maybe you even enjoyed it or appreciated it, but it still was very different than what it was like in your mind.
Exactly.
So that's a big part of it.
Another important one is when space for them and their need for space then turns into too much space and converts into loneliness.
And that is a slow process.
That is a slow process. This is an important one. You know, not having a romantic partner can feel lonely. Not saying that we need to have a romantic partner in our life to be okay, to be whole, etc. But when you have that attachment, when you're used to somebody in that sense, being that close to you, it can feel very different to not have them around for an extended period of time.
Yeah, and loneliness will cause physical pain. Okay? Loneliness is very difficult. And, you know, little bouts of loneliness are not so bad. But over time, and it accumulates, it gets worse and worse.
Right.
Right? Then you wind up on like one of those reality TV shows where people start to go crazy because they're so lonely.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
And you might think, well, my ex is dating someone new. They're with someone. They're not lonely. A replacement person does not have the same effect.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about in another recent video where it takes time to build that level of intimacy. And so having someone new in their lives that they're suddenly connected with, it might be exciting, it might be thrilling, it might be distracting, it might be comforting. But for it to feel connected, for it to feel bonded, might be a bit different for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another big reason that you will see your ex is not prepared for the breakup that they decided on is that they don't think that they'll change their mind.
This is huge.
This one's a big
This
one.
is so big, guys. I'm telling you.
They don't realize that at a certain point they might feel ambivalent, you know, and they might feel like they're really not sure what they want to do, and their own feelings of ambivalence might surprise them. Oh man, I never thought that I would miss them. I never thought that I would feel this way.
Yes, I agree. I would say most of the time your ex does not think they're going to change their mind.
Yeah.
Most of the time they truly believe it. They truly think at the time of the breakup, I'm not going to change my mind about this. And that's why we're saying all those things that people suggest you do, handwritten letters, clean slate messages, good reminder text, it's not going to work on them. Going through this on their own, like all the stuff we've talked about, that is far more powerful on them than you know, trying to text them and relentlessly reaching out to them.
Yeah, it's much stronger when a person comes to their own conclusions, when a person learns their own lessons, when a person makes their own decisions, rather than you trying to impose something on them.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. Your ex is not prepared for what they're going to go through. Right now, they're just kind of focused on how they're feeling in that moment, feeling that relief, maybe excited about the future or how they think it's going to go. But as time goes by and feeling the loss of you, that's why we say don't reach out to them, is going to be painful. It's going to hurt. All of the things, the dreams that they had with you, all the fantasies that they had, all the memories that they had, and how you showed up in their life, they're going to feel that loss. Some of them may even try and get you to agree to friendship. And this is why we're saying, don't agree to friendship. If you agree to friendship, they're not going to experience that loss and that pain. Because now it's like, oh, well, I still get to keep you in my back pocket here. And so I don't have to go through all the pain of losing you. No, you're going to feel it. That's it. Let them feel it. They need to feel the consequence. It was their choice. They don't want to continue. All right, then you're going to feel what it's like to lose me completely.
Yep. So sometimes what it might seem on the outside is very different from what's actually going on behind the scenes.
That's a good point. And we have videos like that on your ex looks happy on social media. So they present some way, but they're really not feeling that way. And we have whole videos dedicated to that. But trust us, your ex is going through a lot more than they're going to let on. They're not going to lower that guard because they know if they do, you're going to relentlessly pursue them and push. And they have to get cold to go through with the breakup. But that also allows them to start feeling the painful consequences of losing you.
Exactly. Just think about all emotions have some sort of purpose.
Yep. Okay, so hopefully this one has been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'll be here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name on the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.